Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls One Doc. It's your girl BD, and Foreign's the fiance is on a hiatus. So today we have another special guest. She is an award-winning publisher. Okay, she is the creator of A Quick Ting On, which is the first ever non-fiction book series on Black British culture. And most importantly, she is my friend. It's Mags.
Hey! Not the bio.
Yeah, the whole bio.
With the bio.
I went on your Instagram. I was like, let me see how she describes herself. And there was nothing there. So I was like, now I have to scroll through your posts and many awards and see, okay, how do I condense this into 30 seconds, you know?
Oh, wow. I wasn't ready.
Oh, yeah, no, welcome, girl.
Hey, girl.
To the podcast. I know Mags from college. Yeah. And we also went uni together.
Yeah, very lucky.
Yeah.
I know.
She is. So yeah, I just thought we'll get her on and do this episode and have a great time.
Yes.
We're drinking today, but we're not drinking alcohol.
Rum.
Because range. Come on. We're drinking apple and mango juice. Mm-hmm. And it's great. I'll post a picture anyway for anyone who doesn't want to drink alcohol.
And I should say that was because you did offer the selection of alcohol or soft drink.
Yeah, I said whatever you want to drink, you can drink.
Because I'm a lightweight, I said I think it's better.
And also, my liver deserves a break, so... I'm listening.
Nori, the new Nori.
Listen, I'm in agreement. So today we are doing a Channel 4 documentary about the Jeremy Kyle show. It's called Jeremy Kyle Death on Daytime. Yeah. And it's 2 episodes.
Yep.
But we're going to cover them both in this one episode. For anyone not from the UK who has no idea what the Jeremy Kyle show is, it's basically like, how would you describe it?
I guess it's like their version of Jerry Springer.
It's like trash daytime TV.
Exactly.
I think Jerry Springer's better than this though.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Springer was also more nicer as a person.
That's what I'm saying. I think I don't think Jerry Springer was a dickhead.
That's true.
And I think that's a major distinction between two of them.
That's
but if I had to give some kind of like, what is it like? What is it comparable to? I would say Jerry Springer. Yeah. Think like cheating scandals, think paternity tests, think lie detector, like it's that kind of vibe. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. So episode 1, right? At the start of this episode, we learned that the producers of this show interviewed people who used to be producers on the Jeremy Kyle show, okay? But because of how this documentary goes, they don't want to actually be in the documentary because they are still trying to be producers on other shows, okay? So they do this thing, and I actually like that they do this, where they basically interview them and then they hire actors to play these people, right? Using their words and like basically portraying them, okay? And so to me, I think that's much better than like someone in a dark shadow and distorting their voice.
I didn't think about that,
because I hate when they do that.
I found it weird that they had actors.
Yeah, but I kind of got into it.
Do you know why? Because every time I would watch them, I just be like, but you're an actor, so this emotion is not even real.
But they're actors.
Because there was a moment where one of the girls even like, she stuttered, or she even like mixed up her words, and I was like, are you acting that?
Do you know what, guys, I've tried to get this noise out the way, but these people have decided whatever it is they're doing, they've decided to do it right now, innit? So
it's reality.
It's reality. Do you know what I mean?
We're gonna work with it.
We're gonna move. But like I felt like the acting was so like convincing.
It was, but then you remember.
But you don't remember. You're supposed to forget.
I couldn't forget the whole time. I was just like,
but your actors. To be fair, I'm saying this, but also I was like, I wonder who the real person was.
Exactly.
Yeah, I liked it, because honestly, the alternative would have been dark shadow, voice distorter, and I hate when they do that. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I think they acted really, really well. So
they did
literally, but obviously not good enough for you. So they basically, these ex-producers, the real ones, they don't want to be in the documentary because they don't want to be blackballed by the industry. Obviously, this show no longer exists, spoiler alert. So they no longer have jobs on the show, and they don't want them, now they're looking for a job, they don't want to not get one. Another funny thing I thought about this documentary, that this documentary is a Channel 4 documentary, yeah. Jeremy Kyle was on ITV.
Yeah.
I feel like Channel 4 were like...
It's Channel Wars.
Petty. Yeah. Literally, I was like, Channel 4 were like, this is our chance. Stick it to the man. Stick and twist.
Another MDC ITV statement was like 4 pages long.
I was writing all that. I'm not going to lie. Because normally I'll screenshot it.
Yeah, no, it was literally 4 pages.
But you can't screenshot it because they have the blocker thing. I was like, I'm not going to lie. Like, if you want to see the statement, you man can watch the documentary. I'm not doing all that, yeah. But the documentary opens up and we are in Portsmouth in a graveyard, an unmarked grave, right? And this is the grave of a man called Steve Diamond, right? He was on the Jeremy Kyle show and then he dies by suicide a week after. So the reason he goes on the show is because he's trying to prove to his fiance that he hasn't cheated on her. Yeah, like it's that kind of show. Okay? Yeah. So throughout the documentary, we see clips of the show, and this is really good for context, okay? Because I feel like you kind of get an idea, if you're not familiar with the show, you get an idea of like why this documentary is even a thing. Yeah. Like why the show is problematic. And one thing I rate about these clips is that like with the Channel 4, like with this documentary, they pixelate the guests' faces. Right. Which means that like they're not inadvertently being re-victimized by basically showing this. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit annoying because like, I hate when they pixelate faces and stuff, but I got it and I was like, okay, cool, like I get it. You can still be anonymous and they can still make their point. So one of the ex-producers says at first she thought that Jeremy Kyle was like giving tough love, like, you know, helping addicts to change their lives, reuniting families, and like just being really hard on them because it's like, do better, sis, like your mum cares about you, that sort of thing. Yeah. And like maybe someone can argue it started off that way. Yeah. But did you watch it? He's a dick. Yeah, but back in the day. Did you watch it?
I did. Not like I didn't tune in, but like it would just be on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like we were really young because that show's been on for 14 years.
Yeah, we were young.
And because I have not watched Jeremy Kyle show in recent times, and I feel like I was in school. And the thing was, like, if you were homesick or like if it was like a Saturday,
exactly.
But like even then, I would think, nah,
this man's mad.
Yeah, I was like, why's he chatting to them like that?
Yeah.
Like it's one of them things where you look and you think, yeah, nah, I can never be me.
Right. It was a spectacle.
That's the word.
It was a deliberate spectacle.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you're taking the piss.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I'd think, oh, maybe like the guests and stuff were actors because like who in their right mind is coming on to be spoken to like that? But then when you go through it, you go through the documentary, you're like, actually, they weren't going on there to be spoken to like that. Like, yeah, crazy. So now we're in this place called Melton Mowbray. Have you heard of this place before?
I'm not gonna lie, never in my life.
Maybe I'm an ignorant Londoner, but like
never in my whole life.
I'm not gonna lie. If you're from Melton Mowbray, let us know in it because I'm still not convinced this is a place.
Yeah, rip your ends.
We learn about the family of this addict. Her name is Christy, right? And her mum is with us, and Mags is shaking her head. Her mum is with us in the documentary. Christy is not, okay? So already I'm thinking, okay, what's happened to Christy? Right. So she tells us that like she's an addict, they couldn't afford rehab, so they basically applied to the show to see if like they can help. 3 to 4 days after they applied, they're filming, okay? And we see some of the episode and he's so condescending. Like Christy's mum even says it, like she's like,
he's so condescending, he's so disrespectful.
In terms of respect and decency, look at you, what are you?
When he says what are you, you know, almost like she's an animal, a species of some sort.
Do you remember he asked her, what are you?
He said, what are you?
I was stunned.
I said, are you alright? And this is a deeper issue to me where it's like people don't treat people with addictions like they have a problem.
Exactly. It's an illness.
It's a disease. Like you treat them like they are making these choices. And the thing is, if you're on the other side, like say it's your mom or your dad or whoever who's constantly disappointing you, I understand being like raw mad. But like if, for example, your parent or loved one had like Alzheimer's or something and they were lashing out and stuff, you would be able to understand like, okay, do you know what? They are sick right now. Definitely. This is not really who they are. They need help. It's a very similar thing when it comes to addiction. 100%. Yeah. So you shouting at someone saying, what are you? You're acting like an animal.
Disgusting.
The way he speaks to people and vulnerable people, because it's not as if he's speaking to another middle class person that way, because he knows he's gonna get done.
It's the most vulnerable people of society. That's what's so unhinged about the whole thing. It's like just punching down on every level.
It's actually disgusting. It's actually disgusting.
And for these family members, that's on TV forever. Like you can just rewatch.
Yeah, and now with YouTube and the advent of the internet and stuff, I can watch that forever and ever and ever. Even this documentary, really I can watch it forever and ever and ever. So and the thing that makes it worse as well is that you're basically doing this for ratings. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's the extent of it.
Yeah. because it's not to help them, Lord.
Yeah, and you really think to yourself, like, why would you put yourself through this? But then Christy's mum is like, listen, like, they were told there's loads of families trying to get this one place into rehab, and like, if you really want to help your daughter, if you really love her, like, you're gonna have to fight for it. Like, you isn't almost like it has to be entertaining.
Yeah, it's like, even Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's really given like fight for your hotspot.
I still haven't watched it, but I get the reference. Yeah, honestly, like it is like quite literally like, what's it? I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah. So you even knew the hand movement.
I did it. Yeah,
I did it.
But yeah, see, I don't need to watch it. But yeah, it's literally giving Hunger Games. Like, listen, there's these other families. They're all here today. Like, only one of you's going to get the spot. And obviously, we know how serious addiction is. They're thinking, fuck, like, we need her to get this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's no other families.
Yes.
There's no other families. They're not fighting against anyone.
Yeah. And she even mentioned that at the time she couldn't really afford rehab. So again, it's that whole taking advantage of people who can't get help any other way.
Because if you could get any of these quote unquote services that these lots provide, if you could afford them by yourself, why would you choose to go on TV? You wouldn't.
Exactly.
You absolutely wouldn't.
Exactly.
A lot, and it's a theme that comes up time and time again. Like, a lot of people who come on this show are coming on here because they can get help that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise.
Yeah, they're desperate
for free. Yeah, because they're desperate.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But in Christy's case, like, she does get to go to rehab, and it works because she's clean for 15 months. But then we get on-screen text that tells us in March 2020 she dies of drug-related causes, which is really, really sad. And again, like, if people saw addiction like the illness that it is, then it wouldn't be so what's that word? Publisher, what's that word?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at you trying to gauge so
when it's like stigmatized.
Like, you cut it in the end, girl.
Whew, that was difficult.
You did it.
English is hard. So as much as Christy's mum hated being on the show, she's like, do you know what, it allowed me to spend more time with Christy. I had those 15 months where I had my Christy back before everything basically went to shit. But she's like, you're being exploited on the show. Like, it's peak.
And she even mentions she's in a better position than a lot of them. Remember, she sort of touched on, like, I had a good job. I was relatively, in comparison to other
relatively
families,
stable.
A good network, so I could cope.
Exactly. You know? And then she goes on to say, like, I can understand then why the Steve Diamond guy took his life, because if I didn't have what I had around me, that could have been me. So we see clip after clip of on-broadcast footage of Jeremy basically being a dick.
That's terrible. You don't need to say here she is. Take a look at this, you donut. No, I don't understand. There was terrible on fucking guests. We done it again. It was thick as shit. Do you know what? Leave that. Stop speaking to me. I'll do it. I'm not something. What are you going to do? What did you say? Something you've just stood on in the street. What do you look like? Something I'd avoid standing on.
Oh my God.
And he makes this comment about, like, well, several comments about them being thick or stupid, and like, it's like he has disdain towards them. It's like he doesn't rate them.
100%.
But then how are you then helping people?
Yeah, he dehumanizes them. It's a complete.
So it's literally just like, so then what are you doing the show for then? If you don't want to be around this kind of person, why are you here then? Why don't you go and therapize people who can pay you to do so?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have no qualifications.
It's not even a therapy.
Thank you.
What are you? Like,
they say it's conflict resolution, but like,
that is conflict. What's the opposite?
The opposite of resolution. Anti-resolution. Honestly, you men are literally, quite literally, and we'll get into it later, like starting conflict and trying to come and say you're resolving the conflict that you started. What? What?
Like, that this doc was very, very challenging watch. I was livid.
You don't want to be watching it, you're actually like angry.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, like, where is Jeremy?
Yeah, exactly. And he has a radio show. That's where he is.
Fam, they always bounce back.
I don't understand.
We're gonna get into it.
I don't get it.
Let's we're gonna get into it. So now we learn a bit more about Steve Diamond. He dies by suicide. He's the reason that the Jeremy Kyle show was cancelled. I think he probably was like the catalyst. Like, he was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Because there was a bunch of shit before. He meets his fiancée Jane, and he loves her so much. Like, he proper loves her. And the thing is that, like, you know when someone's equally yoked,
right?
Like, it just made so much sense. Yeah. And so we see a video of the proposal, and he just seems like a really lovely person. They're really happy in their relationship for a while. But then Jane discovers that Steve's lied about being in the Navy, right? He's also lied about a lot of things. He's kind of like a pathological liar. Like, he's in a lot of debt. He doesn't really have much to his name. He's 63. One of the talking heads is like, oh, you know, like, he literally had all his possessions could fit in 2 bags, and he's 63 years old. Like, imagine where you are, like, what kind of, you know, life you've led. And they describe him as being quite vulnerable. right? So like he's not a vindictive person. It's not like he was trying to like deceive Jane, but he just is not well, right? And that's how it presented. Okay, so Jane is like, okay, do you know what, like, I love you, babes. I'm gonna give you another chance. Great. But she's like, actually, before we do this, I just want to make sure that you haven't cheated. So if you get a lie detector test done, and of course they can only do so by going on the Jeremy Kyle show, because that's when it's free. If he passes that lie detector test, then cool, they can go back to being however. Getting it done privately, they say it costs like £5,000, and they were like, bro, like,
mad.
Who can afford that?
Mad.
And it's really sad because like you hear voice notes of Steve being like, oh, I can't wait to get this done. Literally
broke my heart.
I can't wait to get this done, then we can be together. Like, like knowing that he hasn't cheated.
No, those voice notes, honestly, that was too much.
Just I thought that they were actors at first, because I was like, why does it sound like that? But like literally they were real voice notes, and I was like, nah, Steve.
Honestly, Steve, it's really sad.
It's like, why? Like literally. And then also like obviously like the problem here is Jeremy Kyle show, but Jane, I was like, babes, honestly, we didn't have to do all this.
We didn't.
If you were going to do lie detector test, and then you realise that like, oh, actually it's 5k, maybe it's like, you know what, cool, if I can trust you again, because I don't get putting all your eggs in this like lie detector basket. Like if I feel like you need to do a lie detector to prove to me that you're not cheating, I don't trust you. Let's not be together.
Right.
So like, why did we have to do all this?
That's true.
I don't know. But now we get into Steve's mental health issues. A lot of the time these ex-producers refer to it as mental health, and I'm like, bro, it's mental health issues or mental health problems or mental health. Like you can't say, oh, Steve had mental health. What are you saying?
Right. I think
say that?
Yeah,
like, bro,
we use that wrongly quite a lot.
What are you saying? Steve had mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health what? I'm like, what are you saying? We all have mental health. Like,
this is true.
Anyway, sorry, that really pissed me off. So apparently there's this mental health checklist, that you have to complete and pass in order to get on the show.
This show was it was a joke.
It's all just like what's it, checks and boxes or whatever it's called.
People's lives.
Tick box exercises, exactly.
No.
So a few of them being the producers, admit to lying on these forms or like ignoring certain things, like giving things a blab because they're like, oh, let's get this guest on. And Steve isn't actually allowed to be on the show because he is on morphine and he's on sertraline, which is an antidepressant, right? So in order to do the lie detector test, he had to be off both. Okay. And so we see this GP note basically saying like, he's returned this pack of sertraline, none of them are missing, and he wants them to write a letter saying that he isn't depressed. So that is what these men use as evidence to say, okay, cool, he's no longer on the medication. When really it's like he actually should be on the medication. It's not like they've taken him off it to say you no longer require it. He's just decided, I'm not taking it anymore, and so I'm fine. So now it's the thing where it's like, one, you're not on the medication, so like how stable are we? Like whatever the medication was helping you do, it's no longer doing. And I can just imagine the GP being like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you asking me to do? Like, this is not what I went to school for. Exactly. To ask me like all these things to do. But so they let him on the show despite this. So here's like check number one, where it's like, okay, it shouldn't have even gotten this far.
I remember they asked the producers, like, how did you feel when you saw them? They're like, well, we're just happy because it means he could be on the show. It's like, so you're also part of the madness,
And it's like, again, and we were talking, so before we started recording, we were talking about like the Tara Banks show and the evil that she's done in this world, and how like people, like even the other judge was like, oh yeah, she was a really bad person, and it's all great in retrospect, but you were there
going you were there everything,
benefiting or whatever, and like now you come back to, oh yeah, she was a horrible person.
Exactly.
These producers, it's like, oh yeah, it was so bad. Okay, but you literally were there. And you're not even brave enough to come and show your face and say, look, I did this, like my bad, like it's really, really bad, I feel bad, like whatever. You're like,
exactly.
It's like, who is accountable?
Nobody.
Literally
nobody's been held accountable.
The people who should be accountable, namely Jeremy fucking Kyle, he's living his best life.
Literally. With all the money he made off that show. Cruising.
And those people are, best case scenario, they're in the same position that they were in. Like, that's the best. Most of them are worse off.
Definitely.
Don't piss me off. So now we're in Manchester. Shout out Manchester.
Oh, we know that.
You know Manchester. Do you know what? You know when they were doing the behind the scenes clips, or whatever, and it had the little like clapperboard thing, yeah, and it said Media City. I was like, oh, they film in Salford.
Oh, look at you, 9 locations.
I was like, they film in Salford.
Okay. Old ends.
I miss Manchester, man. It was such a great time.
It was.
Uni was a good time.
It was a good
Not so
time.
much like
we enjoyed
the learning.
Oh no,
but like,
can't say anything about that. But yeah,
I don't know her.
Who is she?
It was a great time.
It was.
Do you remember Impressions Week when we went to what's that place we went to, that that thing? That's when I met Kem for the first time.
We were in dresses.
Yeah, I was wearing that black one with the thing.
And I was wearing a black one
as well.
Yeah, it wasn't even mine. I don't know whose it was.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and find that picture. I'm gonna put it on Instagram.
Yes,
if I can find it.
And we danced. We literally danced until 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it just that's a good time.
What was that thing? What was that place called? I feel like I started with a P.
I'm not gonna remember it, but I know where it is.
It was in Deansgate.
Yeah, and there was
Deansgate Locks. It was in Deansgate. Yeah, because it was in the middle.
Yes.
It was Pow. Was it Pow? No, I'm thinking of Pow. I'm thinking of Lethal B. Was it? Okay, maybe I made that up. But listen, it was a club. Yeah, if you're from Manchester, you know what I'm talking about.
I'll be surprised if it's still there.
Deansgate Locks. Oh yeah, maybe
because they do changing. Because I think Suede doesn't exist anymore.
Suede. Oh my gosh, remember Suede? Yeah. Stop it.
I know.
Do you remember, I think it doesn't Joshua Brooks?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's what they hit. Do you remember we were in Joshua Brooks? Yeah, because my accommodation was right by Joshua
Brooks.
And then the Kendrick album.
Juicy was where.
That's where Juicy was. Yeah. And then the Kendrick album leaked. And then I ran home to go listen to it. Do you remember? It was when Good Kid, Mad City leaked. I think Tori messaged me and was
the way that album had you on chokehold.
Yeah, I have the vinyl now, so let's not let him go.
Yeah, chokehold.
But no, Manchester was good times, man.
Good times.
It was a great time. Oh, guys, if you're thinking about going uni, go Manchester. I mean,
I know. I recommend. I don't know
what it's like now, but it was great back in the day. It's good vibes. I
feel like it'll be good.
It's like London, but cheaper. And better vibes.
People are nicer.
Yeah, everyone's nicer.
Yeah.
And like you'll find your London people there. Don't worry about that.
The Londoners all gravitated. Yeah. All of my friends from Manchester are from London.
Yeah, same.
Do I have any Mancunian friends?
Yeah, I have one.
See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have none.
I don't think it's ridiculous.
We were in their city.
Like attracts like.
Yeah, literally all the Londoners. Well, it was mostly South Londoners.
Yeah, everyone I met in Thingy was from South London.
Yeah, everyone. The first time I went to South London was after uni, because from uni I met South Londoners.
Yeah. It's true. It's actually because I had no business there otherwise. 100%. And it was all the Northwest man them and the North man them all went to the union at the Midlands. Everyone went to like Warwick or Birmingham or like whatever.
Exactly.
And it was just us that went to fucking thing.
So we were just in a sea of South Londoners.
Yeah, well, we survived the sharks. So yeah, we're in Manchester, which is how we got here, and we're with this cameraman, and he doesn't want to show his face. Okay, again.
Oh, this is someone who's facing the window.
I was like, brother,
that killed me.
Why didn't they get an actor for him?
Yeah,
I'm sure they offered him, and he was like, no, actually, I want.
He wanted to shine.
He's like, I want to shine, but like just the back of my head, please. And literally, you see the back of his head, and you see his hands, his ears. I'm like, if you know him, you know him.
You know who he is.
If 100%. You know him, you know him. Yeah. I was like, how many like? I was just like, brother, like again, and you again as well. Like you're here, coming doing like rah. This happened. Okay, but where were you? What were you saying? What were you doing?
You were up in
holding the camera, running around,
up in it,
fam. So he's like, let's talk about who Jeremy Kyle actually is.
Jeremy Kyle's father worked for the Queen Mother. Jeremy Kyle went to a fee-paying school. I would be interested to know how Jeremy Kyle acquired the experience, the relatability, the qualifications to be able to truly walk in the shoes of someone who has grown up in poverty.
He's like, wait a damn minute, before we do all this, let's do this.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Kyle's dad worked for the Queen Mother, and he went to a private school.
Blew my mind, by the way.
The Queen
He
Mother.
was her press secretary or press something like personal assistant.
He was affiliated.
Very intimate.
And so tell me,
career.
How does somebody like that understand the struggles of growing up in poverty?
You definitely
understand the issues that these men are going through, and feel like, I'm the right person to bring this to light. Who
You don't. You definitely don't.
What training did you have?
Crazy. And before that, he was just a radio host, so you have no formal training.
So you're literally just, it's like anyone can just come and do anything.
Yeah, literally.
Where is that all these people who just do like YouTube interviews with like people and stuff? I'm like, bro, like, where are the journalists?
What are your qualifications?
Literally, where are they?
Yeah, no, that bit was shocking because I didn't know that about him.
I didn't know that. How would we know?
Yeah,
how would we know that?
That's a crazy background to have.
I'm just like, bro, like, how did you? And like, I'm sure that his like peers, quote unquote, don't rate him.
He probably must be a nasty person in real life. I mean, he's nasty.
Even in terms of what he's doing, right? Even if you think about the snobbery of it all, you're a middle class guy. Yeah, your friend, you don't chill with the people that you're on that you quote unquote help on this show. So the people you actually chill with in real life are not the kind of people who are watching Jeremy Kyle show.
That's true. But you know, when it touched on it in the show, that time in TV was a little bit mad.
Yeah.
Like, even I was thinking about X Factor on my way here. Even that show, it was similar in that it was a spectacle again, where most of the time you're laughing at people
actually
on the show.
Auditions.
The auditions, you're making a mockery of most of the time, again, working class people more time.
It's so true.
And we're just laughing.
And we're literally laughing at them.
The whole that TV period in the UK was a bit fucked. And it was tapped.
The thing that's terrible with X Factor as well is that like you're almost like gaslighting me into believing that I'm good, because if I got this far, how can I not be good?
Yeah, exactly.
And I would be surprised if the producers were not saying, oh look, anyone who's saying that they're just jealous of you, like they just want to be where you are. Because what would possess somebody to come on a show? Like if someone tells me I can sing, and you're like, oh okay, Mags, you're like to me, oh yeah, you can't sing, and I'm like, no, I think I can sing, I'm gonna go on X Factor, and then these producers in the pre-auditions and stuff tell me, do you know what, you're gonna do great, you're gonna do amazing. You go and your confidence is building. You think I'm good, people are telling me that I'm good, people I don't know are telling me that I'm good. Then I get to Simon Cowell and he's calling me all sorts of hoes, and I'm like, what?
No, that was a crazy time. Like, what do you think about? Does X Factor exist? I don't think it does anymore.
I don't know.
But even that, once again, we were also very young.
Yeah, that's true.
But everyone was tuning into that, and you're laughing at people.
Like we were young, but like adults were watching that and doing the same thing.
Exactly. I think that time in British TV was just a little bit off. You know?
It was actually very crazy.
Yeah, and we just didn't realize until now. Yeah, I only realized when I was coming here. I was just thinking
a very good
thing. It was that time of that spectacle of, again, laughing at specifically working class people, or like people maybe who had certain disabilities, or you know, like
vulnerabilities, or like or who maybe like had an accent. Do you remember Susan Boyle?
Yes.
Was that Britain's Got Talent? It's all the same thing.
It's all Simon Cowell.
Britain's Got Talent, like literally looking at her and literally just off what she looks like, judging her, and laughing at her,
exactly.
and then her having to like sing and prove, oh, actually, I'm worthy of your respect because look at what I can do with my voice.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Crazy.
That was nasty. Who was that? There was even that she was African, that black singer, and she had like an immigration. She could actually sing though.
Oh, was it?
But then she couldn't get through because I think she got sent back.
Oh, is it?
Or something.
What, as a result of being on the show?
Yeah, well, I guess that notified the authorities of her status. But even the way like the media reported it, I think that was just a nasty time in TV, man. That was a bad time.
Very dangerous.
Now we have Great British Bake Off, so I think times have changed maybe.
Yeah, but you see what they do with the avocado on Mexico Week?
What?
The way she's trying to cut the avocado. I'm sorry.
Wait, what's going on?
Punishable by death. The way the woman trying to cut that. I didn't even watch that episode. The clip came across my timeline. It was Mexican Week. And she was trying to cut. I'm going to show you the video after this. Remind me.
Okay.
And she was trying to cut an avocado. Google it. YouTube it.
I will.
Great British Bake Off avocado. I'm sure it will come up. And she was cutting it like it was fucking like skinning it alive. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know what. I literally don't understand. I'll watch it.
Well,
maybe it'll make sense.
We'll watch it. But again, criminal. So yeah, they're doing better. Great show, yeah. But like that should not have been aired. So yeah. So basically, like Jeremy Kyle is the worst person to
have ever lived. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, that too. But be the spokesperson for this show. Like, you don't know what it's like to be in these people's shoes. That's why you can turn around and say, oh, why don't you just do better? Why don't you just do better? It's the same kind of vibe. People who are like, oh, you're complaining about energy bills, but you've got a smartphone or you've got Netflix. Oh, is it? Is the $5.99?
Yeah. It's the same type of people who believe that like poor people are only poor because they don't work hard enough.
They don't work hard enough. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
That rhetoric.
That is so dangerous. It's like, bro, like, listen, you cannot work your way out of poverty. Like,
it's a myth, guys.
You can't. It's impossible.
Jesus.
You cannot do more hours and then all of a sudden you're not poor anymore.
No.
Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's a societal issue. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a wider issue. And people are so, like, in their own little bubbles and their own little communities and stuff that they just think, like, oh, yeah, like, you're just not working hard enough.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing. Like, okay, cool, we talk about racism in the UK, but classism... Mm-hmm. That's why when these men start voting Conservatives, I'm like, hello, remember who you are, yeah?
Guys, wake up. Let's not do this.
Literally, it's crazy. I'm just like, hello, like, classism here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Chokeholds. The UK has it by chokeholds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
And it's fucked as well with the racism part of things, because them, the lower class or working class people will still look down on a black, like, oh,
you can't win. You can't win.
It's so good. But then it's just crazy, man. I mean, it was really refreshing not to see any black people in this documentary. I'm not gonna lie, it was great.
That's
it was
true,
like,
actually.
It was like, this has got nothing to do with us, innit? This is not our fight. The fight really is that you are looking down on working class people as if they are. There's even one phrase they use, like, oh, well, they say working class, but really it's the non-working class people, because a lot of them, like, they don't have jobs, or it's like difficult to get jobs.
Right.
And it's like, benefits this, benefits that, people are lazy. It's like,
even that, remember that time, all the headlines was about benefit frauds and benefit thieves, and that was what a time.
And it's like, benefits are literally there to help people.
Yeah, why
like,
are you mad?
I remember even at work, when I used to work like on the high street, it's like you get people come in and they have like, NHS will give you vouchers and stuff, towards your glasses and stuff, and like sometimes people would be like embarrassed to say like, like I claim benefits because of the stigma attached to it. And it's like, no, like, you've lost your job, or you're going through a rough time. This is literally what this is for. Like, this is literally what we're paying taxes for, so that people can be helped. And they've just come and made it seem like it's some heinous thing that you, I don't know, man. Either way, Jeremy Kyle is not the right person to do any of this at all. And he doesn't even have, even if he's not the right person and he can't relate on a personal level, he doesn't even have the right intentions.
He has no empathy. He has no compassion.
None. So the ex-producers tell us they're taught it's all about conflict. Conflict is key, they said. And they would literally provoke people backstage, get them angry in order to increase the conflict of when they met each other. And they'd literally like separate people. Like, say me and Mags are going on the show and we're in a relationship, and like I cheated on her and she wants to know if I cheated on her. We could go get there together, like, okay, cool, this is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. We're hoping for the best. Then they'll put Mags in a room, they'll put me in a room, and now they're riling me up like, oh, how can she say that you cheated, blah, blah, blah. They're chatting to Mags. Oh, you're gonna let her cheat on you again? Like,
can you imagine?
So
crazy.
Obviously,
it's like treating them like zoo animals,
literally, or like them bulls. You know, when they do the thing. Yeah. It's so crazy. So we meet one of the people affected by this, and like, do we get his name? They don't. Okay, one thing about this documentary, they don't have any lower thirds.
That was the most annoying thing of this whole documentary.
But then I was like, is this on purpose? Are we trying to keep them anonymous? Is it that they didn't want their names to be on there? But then I was like, but then they reference each other.
Say something.
Something. Yeah, exactly.
Even on the producers. When I look away and I come back, I'm like, oh, so now who's this?
And it's like, I literally was like, wait, did you guys forget, or is it by design, or
that was
what?
really dumb.
It was really annoying.
Yeah.
So this man number one,
mysterious man.
The only person I name is Steve Diamond. They didn't even write that down, and we had to deduce that from the pictures. So
terrible.
He is on the show, and he declines being on the show loads and loads of times. But the reason he's on the show is because his wife left him for his friend, right? And so the time he decides to go on the show, he is told by the producers, listen, your wife wants to apologize to you in public, okay? Because of what she's done. But obviously that's not the case. So during the show, he headbutts the friend, okay? And we see the footage. It was so smooth, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he walks up to him and he's like,
that's
if you
crazy.
blink, you would have missed it.
And I think I actually did the first time. I think I had to rewind
his nose, because then you just see his nose bleeding. You're thinking, what happened? Luckily he doesn't go to jail, because the judge is like, listen to me. They call it bear baiting. Basically saying you're provoking him to do something bad. Then he does something bad, and now you want to punish him for it. So luckily that judge has sense, okay?
I enjoyed the fact that he was in the documentary.
I liked him. I really liked him.
Good vibes.
He was really good vibes. Like, he's like the kind of old person that I see at work, and we like talk for ages.
Right.
It's just like, oh, you're such good vibes. I wonder what your life was like. But he's really good vibes. But even though he doesn't go to jail, he loses his job because he works in security, and when you work in security, you can't have a criminal record, right? Which, I mean, fair. His property gets repossessed, and like, he contemplates suicide. So again, it's not just a show, it's not just an episode. Like, literally, it leads people down a spiral. And so now think about it. We're talking about poverty and all this stuff. He had a job, now he's lost that job because he's gone on the show. It's going to be hard for him to get another job. How do you think poverty works? Exactly. Do you think now if he just goes, oh, he needs to work harder, okay, how's he going to get that job then? Hey. So it's the day of Steve's recording. It's the 2nd of May 2019. I know they never actually broadcast this episode because of what happened, so we don't see it, but we hear about what happened. And so they do the lie detector test, and it says that Steve lied about not cheating on Jane. It's basically saying that he did cheat on her. And again, like, Jeremy Kyle's so disrespectful towards Steve, basically chatting shit to him. We don't hear what he says, but you can imagine based on everything else that he said to people. And the producers, meanwhile, are like really excited because they're like, oh my god, like, this is going to be an amazing episode, like, this is going to be amazing. And literally right after the show, Steve is like, look, I don't want to live anymore. And the producers are like, listen, like, people say this all the time, like, it never happens.
Even that, the fact that you're in a space where people tell you this all the time, and you're just like, you guys said this is crazy.
And also, spoiler alert, it does happen. It has happened.
Exactly.
So let's not act like, oh yeah, it never happens. We'll get there. But we meet a Daily Mail reporter. How do you feel about the Daily Mail?
Oh, not a fan.
No comment.
Not a fan.
So I thought so. I was like, why did I have such a reaction to this person?
Not a fan.
So we meet a Daily Mail reporter who tells the story of another couple. This time, the lady in the couple is a man and a woman. The lady fails the lie detector test and the man beats her up as a result. Okay, so now we're talking domestic violence. And they blur the image so you don't see it, but like even through the blur you can see that she has a black eye. Like you can probably see it, yeah. And the producer of the documentary asked the Daily Mail guy, like, oh, you know, we all watched the show, but like, did you enjoy it, right? Here my man is stuttering.
Did you enjoy it? That you see that's difficult. Yes, I think initially I did.
Yeah,
stuttering, basically saying yeah, like he did. And like I said, like in the beginning, we all are kind of guilty for watching the show, because we all, things like X Factor, we all would watch it, laugh, even in like common days, like sharing stuff on the internet, blah blah blah. Everyone is partly responsible for the way that these shows were able to run, because if they weren't getting these ratings and no one was watching it, they wouldn't be allowed to continue doing what they're doing. But it's just like, maybe you didn't I mean, I know for us, we were children, so it's like, okay,
we didn't understand.
We're not really deep in the exploitation, but like looking back at it now, it's like rah,
it's impossible to stomach.
Literally, it's disgusting. So although this guy is a Daily Mail reporter, he makes a good point, okay?
Although
about lie detector tests, because he says Steve was basically a compulsive liar.
Yes.
So because of that, he doesn't actually know what's true and what is a lie for the most part, right? He's not lying to be deceptive. He just lies, right? And so if he doesn't know what's true and what's a lie, how could the lie detector possibly be able to detect whether he's lying or not? Because to Steve, like, he's just saying what happened. In his mind, he truly believes whatever happened, right? So like, can we really trust a lie detector? So after the show, Steve tries to talk to Jane. She doesn't take him back, and he like comes to the house and stuff. Like, it's really sad.
So sad.
It's so sad. Like, she basically just not on it. And like, Jane, I get it. Do you know what I mean? You've been betrayed and you feel a way about it, and like you're well within your rights to be like, look, this relationship isn't for me and I don't want to be in it anymore. That it's not Jane's fault. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But then it's like, she airs him basically, and then she finds out that he's died by suicide. And so the last text that he sends to Jane says, it was a long one, but I'm going to read it all. Basically, I hope the Jeremy Kyle show is so happy now. They are responsible for what happens now. I hope this makes good ratings for them. I bet they keep this quiet. Never, never, never did I ever cheat on you. My final words.
It's really sad. Like, that's just so sad. Even the voice note. Do you remember the voice note that they played where he was just crying to her? Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Like, and this just didn't have to happen. Like, a man is dead, literally. And he was 63. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like, that's a youngin'.
It is. 100%.
Like, you've got him and Jane could have got married.
Exactly.
Maybe they wouldn't have had kids, but they would have been out here living their best lives. You know, watching the Corrie and all that stuff. They would have had a great time.
Yeah. And
now for nothing.
It's really sad.
This is someone who was unstable. He should have never been allowed to be on this show.
No. Yeah, blood is on their hands, for real.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So this episode ends with our Daily Mail guy basically saying, yeah, Steve did die as a result of the Jeremy Kyle show, but there are so many more victims, including their own producers, right? You're like, rah, cliffhanger. Oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
Episode 2, we're getting into it right now.
Yes.
Okay? So in this episode, we meet a man. Again, no lower third, no nothing.
Nothing.
No nothing.
I think his name was Paul. Sort it out, please. Literally, why are we guessing names? We should know. You know what I mean?
Like, help me help you.
Honestly.
I just want to recap the documentary accurately, and I want to give people their flowers. Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, let's sort it out. Do you know what I mean? So, I think it's Paul, and the only reason I think it's Paul is because someone was talking about it and referenced Paul, so maybe it wasn't.
All right, let's go with Paul.
We'll go with Paul anyway. So this man Paul is married to a lady called Erin. Erin is her actual name because they say that, and so Erin wants to go on Jeremy Kyle show because Paul is always cheating on her. If I say men are trash, they'll say that I said men are trash, so I'm not going to say it. Her friends tell her, don't go on the show, because Erin's a really anxious person anyway, so it's kind of like, this may not be the best environment for you, sis. But she's like, you know what, I really want to go on the show, and so she goes on it. And so we hear the same things we've already heard. Once they get to the studio, they separate them, they film them, they separate them, and they kind of wind both of them up. And so Jeremy Kyle's kind of like antagonizing Erin on stage, basically like pressuring her to leave Paul, basically kind of being like, oh, like low key, like, oh, you a dickhead. Imagine if you is Jeremy Kyle, and when I say Jeremy Kyle, like in your face, like he's very disrespectful and he's in your face. I'm surprised no one's
and he also has a very strong character, so it must be very scary,
intimidating. 100%. And he's like all up here, and this is his world. Everyone here works for him. Everyone here's doing what he wants to do. Even the studio audience, they're gonna laugh, they're gonna boo based on what the producer tells them to do. So you're literally on your own in front of all these people. He's saying, listen, are you a fucking dickhead? This man's cheated on you bare times and you're gonna take him back. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Now she's getting all like riled up, like, oh, I'm gonna leave him, even if you don't want to. Because it's a similar thing with like, even with your girls, if your man cheats on you and you tell your girls and they were like, nah, you should leave him, even if you think you can work it out and you want to stay, now you're making decisions based on what it looks like. Imagine that amplified by the nation. Literally. And even if not by the nation in that minute, because obviously it's not a live show, but it's not like broadcast live, but like you still have a whole live audience there.
And you fully understand that over 1 million people are at home watching.
It's just a matter of time that people are going to see all this. Exactly. So you're like, ego is a thing. Do you know what I mean? And so is intimidation, and so is like Jeremy Kyle being a dick. So so she said she'll leave him, and so because of this, they kind of separate for a couple of days, and so they plan to talk on Friday, right? But on Thursday evening, Erin is found dead, and she's died by suicide. And so Paul blames himself, and I'm not gonna lie, Paul, I'm not saying it was your fault, but you... So next. Nah, Paul, like, I don't think you should blame yourself forever in it, because you actually can't beat yourself up for life, but you set her up for this. You didn't have to do it. You could have just been faithful, or you could have just left her. Do you know what I mean? You didn't have to bring Jeremy Kyle into all of this. And I know that she wanted to go on it, but it's like there would be no need to go on it if you just were committed to the person you wanted to commit to.
Right.
Jeremy Kyle was definitely a catalyst for all of this, because he'd been cheating on her, and like and they were staying together. Do you know what I mean? So 100% the difference in this particular holleration in the dancery was the Jeremy Kyle show. So I think that was definitely a factor, a bigger factor than Paul.
I think it was that.
But Paul, you pissed me off, because why did you cheat on her? You don't have to do that.
We don't support cheaters
at all. So this whole episode is to prove that basically Steve Diamond wasn't an anomaly, right? He wasn't a one-off like they basically claimed in the first episode, that the Jeremy Kyle show had actually caused this to happen on multiple occasions. So now it's 25th of June 2019. I feel like that's the day that Michael Jackson died, but like years before.
Did he die? You might be right. It was June.
He died. I think it was 25th of June. You know?
Why do you know that?
When I say that, I remember the most random things.
That doesn't even make sense as to why you remember that. That's actually quite impressive.
I remember because it's some boy that I went to school with. It was his birthday. And on that day, and I remember finding out like when he died, thinking, oh shit, that's Twiggy's birthday.
Oh, fair. Oh, that's
so I think that's why it's connected in my head. Yeah. I know, very sad. R.I.P. Michael Jackson.
Yes.
So there's a committee meeting thing about the show. It's kind of like an inquiry, but not really. Like it's weird.
Oh yeah, the
little round table thing.
Yeah. The UK loves an inquiry.
They love an inquiry. Then nothing happens afterwards.
Yeah, literally. That's the whole purpose of them.
Nothing happens.
And nothing happens.
So Jeremy Kyle doesn't appear, so he's meant to be like basically like in the hot seat, but he doesn't go. There's a guy called Tom McLennan who is an executive producer. He goes, right? So they get into the whole use of lie detector tests and ask Tom how accurate they are. No one knows. It's like, this should be figures coming off the tip of your tongue. You're using them all the time. You should be knowing how effective they are. And all the different ex-producer actor people are saying different things.
Ex-producer actor people, because they're actors, they're not even just the producers.
we literally get between 86 and 99.9% accuracy.
They just make it up.
They just make it up. And think this is so manipulative. And think about, we're dealing with people who are working class, maybe don't have further education, maybe their critical thinking skills aren't where it could be. So it's like someone's coming to you and saying, listen, this test is 99.9% accurate. If they tell me now that Mags actually cheated on me, I'm gonna be like, rah. But it's science though. The test isn't like, there's no thinking about what are the factors that could influence this test, who's taking the test, are you on certain medications when you're on the test. There's none of that. They just hear a percentage. It's like junk science, isn't it? They just hear like a percentage and think, oh yeah, cool, like it must be right. We get an expert who basically says that at best they're 66 to 70% accurate.
Shocking.
At best.
Yeah, shocking.
What?
Shocking.
At best.
And you know what, even if you're the most intelligent, the most critically thought out person, they create such an environment of chaos that you're not gonna be thinking straight regardless.
Exactly.
You know, it's impossible.
Exactly.
To have your wits about you in that environment.
Exactly. It's like the whole environment is designed to put you off.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to act like, oh, these working class people are all dumb and all thick and stuff, yeah? And it's like, okay, cool, maybe they don't sound the way that you sound, or maybe they don't whatever, but like, they're not stupid. Like, a lot of them are not actually stupid. Just because they don't articulate things in a way that you would, it doesn't mean they're stupid. You literally put them in an environment that's literally stripping them of like their comforts, their like sensibilities, like they're vulnerable.
It's
more vulnerable.
It's so dehumanizing.
Yeah, it's actually mad.
And do you know the mad thing when they were like, how when the person behind the camera was like, is it easy to get, it must have been easy to get guests on.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it was actually so hard. I was like, so they're like, it's just the level of deception. It's just so extreme. I just could not get over how the multiplicity of layers of the deception was too much.
Because they're saying it's hard to get guests, yeah. But they're telling the guests, oh, you know, we're really doing you a favour here.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
It's insane.
No wonder people are going on the show. Like, no wonder people act this way, because they think they're being given a deal. It's an opportunity. They're being like scammed.
Yeah, completely. Whew. No.
Yeah, the lie detector thing is really important because they're presenting the results of the lie detector as fact.
Yeah.
So normally, it's like, the lie detector determined that was a lie. We're doing it more, Jeremy Kyle will say, oh, the lie detector showed that you're a liar. Or he'll be like, oh, so you did the lie detector test, or you're a liar. Why are you lying?
Yeah. Even the way he delivers it, it's just so...
And he'll shove the card in their face. Like, read that. You can read that. Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Why are you always...
I cannot believe. Maybe they just didn't air it. That nobody boxed him in his face.
I'm so surprised. Someone surely must have attacked him more than once.
He's so close to them. That, they're security, but you could have got in a good punch. Even just the one. You could have got a good one in there.
No. It's actually disgusting how he speaks to people.
Yeah, he bullies them. It's actually despicable.
He has contempt. Like, you can just... It's just like this sheer inner hatred for these people.
And it's like, so why are we here?
Yeah.
Go and get clientele that you enjoy or that you like.
Honestly.
So we get another person who's been on the show. His name is Adrian. Mate, they just keep coming. Adrian reaches out to Jane, Steve Diamond's ex-fiance, except it's not Adrian, it's his partner. We found that out later, but I had already written the note at this time. So Adrian's partner basically tells Jane about his similar experience, except that his episode actually gets broadcasted, because remember, Steve's episode didn't, because he died.
Yeah.
So in a documentary, we don't officially meet Adrian, and the reason we don't meet him is because his psychologist says he's not well enough to be interviewed. So we see him, there's like shots of like the back of his head, or him like smoking a cigarette or whatever, but we don't actually see him, right? And so his partner is saying, you know, she's going to speak for him because she wants the story to be told, and she's like, she's the one who reached out to Jane. Cool. So their story is a little bit different, because it's not so much about like love and blah blah blah. Really what's happened is he's been accused of stealing something from a friend. Him and two other friends are accused of stealing something from a particular friend, and so they all have a lie detector test. All three of the friends are on the show, and then Adrian fails the lie detector test, and he's like, bro, like, I didn't steal it, like it wasn't me. And his partner's like, listen, like, he has not been the same since that day, and he actually attempted to take his life. And so she's like, you know what, this is very serious. Let me try and call the Jeremy Kyle show and say, look, like, can you not broadcast it, or can you let him do another lie detector test because he didn't do it? And she tells them, like, look, he attempted to take his life, and they still put the episode out.
See, people need to go to jail. Like, you cannot treat people like this and get away with it. It's insane. It's insane.
It's actually wild, because it's just like, wait, so
disgusting.
And then you want to turn around and say Steve Diamond is the first person to die.
Yeah, it's a lie.
So if Adrian had actually succeeded in trying to take his life, so what is that?
Exactly.
Because we found out loads of people tried to take their lives and don't succeed,
and more than one did. It wasn't just the one.
Like,
I think honestly, like, if you actually went through all the stories, a substantial amount of them are no longer alive.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's shocking.
Or have tried, it's crazy. And the thing is that, like, I feel like some people will look at these situations and think, oh, do you know what, like, it's not that deep. Like, it's like cyberbullying. Like, oh, you'll get over it. No, it's actually that deep, because a lot of these guests are already vulnerable. Yeah. They're already living in some level of poverty, or dealing with some kind of mental health issue, or mental health, as they say. And think about it, like, Jeremy Kyle is on at like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is all before the whole work from home thing. So think about it. the people watching these shows are unemployed or low income, right? Or have not a typical shift working pattern, which is why they're at home to see these episodes and stuff, yeah. And it's like he now is coming feeling mad superior with his private education and his dad who worked for the Queen Mum and doing all this, and it's like it is that deep. Like this whole thing is that deep. Do you know what I mean?
Hugely deep, yeah.
So now we get into the producers' experiences, because they're also being exploited. I guess they're trying to do a whole like hurt people
yeah
kind of situation, yeah, because they have crazy work hours. They finish like 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah,
when they kept saying working, I'm like, what are you actually doing?
It's just trying to force people to get in the show.
Because what are you doing till 4 or 5 a.m?
Yeah.
Because other producers, the editors, they're different people, right?
They make they are different people,
because those roles are different, right? You're producing the show, you're coming up with like concepts, you're getting,
I guess guests. maybe they film at different time, because you don't know what time they film.
Yeah, but a live audience 4 or 5 a.m, come on.
I wonder, is it the audience live or the actors? Are they paid actors?
I think they are normal people actually, because there was one behind the scenes clip where he was getting annoyed that the audience were talking.
Oh yes,
and if they were actors,
I remember
they
that.
wouldn't be talking. Yeah, if they were actors, they wouldn't be talking.
I remember that.
So yeah, once I said they weren't allowed to eat unless they book guests. I was like, what?
You know what? These things, yeah.
They have packed lunch.
Like, I understand careers are important. I know that. But your peace of mind, like, I don't, like, what is the actual point?
Yeah.
What's the actual point?
Like, to what ends? Like, okay, so now you've done this job and you've worked till 5 a.m. and then what happens? Like, what was it all for?
You're being treated badly. You're treating people really badly.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you were okay within yourself to treat people badly, yeah. Like, when it turns around and it's on you, you're still okay. Even if you're like, oh, fuck those people, like, oh, they're nothing. No, it's fuck me, I'm nothing. And I get it. Like, surely there comes a time where you're like, nah, like, I can't.
It's just.
Do you know how many jobs?
Because the actress girl of the producer at the start was like, it was like a cult, and like you really believed in him, and I think a lot of them
I think it was like that for her though, because she seemed kind of young.
We wouldn't know because she's an actor. That's my whole point. Like,
I get it, but like her words were young. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
her words were young.
That's true.
Because loads of other people, other actors,
that's true,
were like, I don't know. She just seemed excited and happy to be there.
Yeah.
And I think there was one time she mentioned something about being 19 and like being responsible for people's like mental health stuff.
Yeah.
But she was giving young and just had like getting her foot in the door. I remember like, you've probably not gone uni. Like, this is you're literally, this is the beginning of your career, and you're getting your foot in the door, having the Jeremy Kyle show on your like CV or whatever. Yeah, it's amazing. And then that can lead to better things, perhaps.
And that was the other thing that was interesting was, I think it was 2 actors of being the producer people when they were saying that it was the first time being working class worked in their benefit.
Yeah, because they could relate.
Yeah, so they not auditioned for the role. They went for their interview, and they're with other like quote unquote proper people who are educated, and the ones who happen to get it were working class people.
Exactly, because that's what they wanted.
Yeah,
they wanted the relatability factor.
The whole thing is so deviant and so dark.
Yeah. And also like, it's also the whole assuming that like someone who wasn't working class wouldn't fit into that thing.
Yeah, wouldn't
like, how do you know that them two are not a depraved individual?
The whole thing, it's just
every aspect of
complete takes advantage.
Every aspect of it is messed up.
So and the Trisha thing, did you know that was so interesting?
What
when they were explaining that people were saying that there's never been a show like Jeremy Kyle before, but actually there has. It was the Trisha show.
Trisha Goddard.
Yeah, and how a lot of the
woman, innit?
Yeah, she was a black woman.
What was it like this though?
It wasn't this bad. Yeah. No, I don't think it was this bad.
It was the same vibe.
So they were saying a lot of the producers came from there.
Oh yes, it literally was like conflict resolution.
Yes,
let's sit down, like Ricky Lake.
Yes, yeah.
But I think UK or is she American?
American, I think.
Okay.
But I think Trisha Goddard was a bit. I don't remember. Once again, we were very young.
Yeah, but I haven't recognized. Like, if I see her now, let me even Google her face.
You'll recognize her face.
I feel like I want to make sure what I'm thinking is what Trisha Goddard, look at her. Yeah, that's literally the hair I imagined. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what she's saying these days.
I went on her Instagram after I watched the documentary.
Is it? What's she saying now?
She has some sort of show, but nothing on the same like magnitude as this.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It's just not that time anymore.
Like, no, we don't want to see stuff like this.
It's like we did some boy band episode, and like it's like there's a point in time where like boy bands just weren't a thing anymore. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you might have been a great boy band, but like you might be a great boy band now, but like it's just not that vibe.
Right.
No one's really trying to check for that.
Right.
But oh my god, look at Trisha.
I know.
Oh,
I thought that was so interesting when they were like, I think that what they said was a lot of the people who had like smaller jobs on Jeremy Kyle, on Trisha, how were like main producers on Jeremy Kyle, so they just like moved.
Okay, I see.
Which I thought was interesting pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that explains why they were doing their 4 to 5 a.m. Maybe it was all for something, but
yeah.
So we see a montage of news clips showing off different sides of the argument, basically. And most people have sense, and they're like, "Listen, it's really exploitive." Yeah. Is it exploitive? Exploitative.
Exploitative,
right?
I think so.
Exploitative, and it's classist, right? And so, like, you know, someone is like, maybe it's actually being snobbish to suggest that these things shouldn't be on TV. Like, maybe people want to see themselves
go on the show yourself
on TV.
then.
I was like, are you alright? I was like, are you a crazy person?
It's ridiculous.
We're talking about exploitation, you're talking about representation. What's going on here?
But also, what does that even mean?
What are you saying?
Representation of what?
Of what? Of what? Oh, I want to see poor people like me on TV.
Yeah, like, no. Stop it.
Let's all behave ourselves.
Stop it.
So we learn about this Graham guy, and he is a quote unquote therapist. I use that word so loosely. So loosely, yeah. He works on the show. He's basically a sideman, essentially. And he was supposed to be responsible for the aftercare, so like looking after the patients after they've been on the show. He is trash. I mean, is there anything else you'd like to say about him?
Look at the results.
Like, he's
yeah.
I
don't understand.
Yeah, I'd say no more.
No words.
Literally no words. So, whistleblower cameraman staring in the window. Yeah. The thing is, that pisses me off with this bit.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like, so he's wearing, I think, like a blue shirt or something. Yeah, you see the back of him, and then he's like one of them like floor to ceiling windows in some building. Yeah, his hand is like on the window all dramatically. They zoom into his hand. I said, bro, what's the meaning of this? Like, Pooja, what is this behaviour? Yeah, zooming in, and then you see the side of him, and it's like you see his profile, but imagine,
just show your face at this point. You might as well show your face.
Profile, but they cut off like his face, but all we see is his ear. Why are we looking at this man's ear? What's that got to do with what we're doing here? What's that got to do? In fact, I would have rather they just did a shadow at this point, because I was like, no, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
You know, it didn't. Honestly, when the scene opened and he was just sitting with his back to us, I was like, where are we going here?
What are we doing here?
What's actually going to happen?
And it's like, brother, like, you're close to retirement, innit? So like, what are you really trying to, what are you going to lose?
I didn't understand. Because anyone who knows you will know you. If you see me from the back, you know it's me. Okay,
I know
exactly. It's not.
If I see your ear, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, look, it's not concealed. So, what are you doing?
It's so ridiculous. It's like the people who know you is what you're concerned about. You're concerned about the people who worked with you know who you are. Who am I? If I don't know you, what does that mean to you? I'm not in control of your next job. Exactly. Sort it out. I mean, despite all this, he makes a really good point.
If you look at who was in the studio audience, who the guests were, the people who were at the lower levels making the programme, it was a largely working class programme, but it was middle class people running it. They were using working class people to basically feed working class people to other working class people. There's no other way of saying it.
He's saying it was the working class people being exploited for the benefit of middle class people, because they were the ones running the show, basically. Yeah. Which is literally, you're stepping on the backs of working class people to get to a point where you already have the privilege of being middle class, private education. Yeah. Dad worked for the Queen's mum. I'm never letting that go, because
what does that even mean?
How did you even get that job?
What does that even mean?
Mad.
Very mad.
So now we learn about Tash, okay? And Tash, everyone says she's a really lovely person. She's worked on the show as a producer for ages, right? And her dad died tragically when she was really young, okay? So Tash was in charge of Steve's episode. So when he died, she felt really responsible, right? And then when the show ended because of it, she felt really bad because now everyone's lost their jobs and she was just lost, okay? ITV are like, you know what? You've really had our back. You didn't throw us under the bus for this. We're going to help you find a new job, but they don't. So Tash is 31 and she dies by suicide. And it's like, girl.
Wild.
31.
Wild. A baby. Literally a baby.
Child bride.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. ITV are like
looking very funny in the light.
Very funny in the light, saying, oh, you know, she didn't work on the Steve Diamond episode, but she did work on the Steve Diamond episode. They're trying to make it seem like she didn't work on that episode, because if he died on the episode and then someone who was working on the episode died, what does that look like?
Double suicide.
Literally double suicide on your watch. You got two bodies now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Insane.
Crazy. So now that the show is done, we see this interview of Jeremy Kyle talking about it, and like ultimately he's living his best life in it. Like he's got a quote unquote lovely family, he's got a great house, and he's gonna be fine. Like this doesn't affect him. Everyone else he's affected is like they had over 20,000 guests on the show for the 14 years that it ran, and it's just like you're here living your best life, probably not even thinking, probably not even remembering the people who you've ruined their lives. So the doc is coming to an end now, and like one of the talking heads says basically the only innocent people here are the guests. And it's actually true, because Jeremy Kyle for damn sure is not innocent. The producers, the view, everybody played a part in this mess basically, and it took ITV way too long to be like, oh, do you know what, actually let's pull the plug.
Exactly.
So like it was a good documentary in terms of like, you know, exposing what we kind of probably suspected to be true but didn't know the magnitude of. So it's on Channel 4. I definitely recommend watching it.
The details were good.
Exactly. But it was just shit because like I never liked Jeremy Kyle, man, because Jerry Springer was different. Even Maury, like it's all a similar kind of show, but like it's just, I mean, they're kind of bad as well in terms of like you're not shouting at them or being mean to them, but you are
still making a mockery.
You are exploiting them and making a mockery. And like Jerry Springer had this way of being very like sarcastic, he kind of like, you know.
Didn't Jeremy Kyle go to America?
Did he?
I feel like, don't quote me, but I think they started an American version and he went. I think it was him.
Is it?
I think. I could be wrong, but
it's
a vague...
I don't see how that would run. Americans
would beat him up. What? Memory.
I don't think Americans are taking shit like that.
I'll check after.
I don't think... No, we can check right now.
I
don't think Americans are taking shit like that.
I think I do have a recollection of Jeremy Kyle US. What's it saying?
Jeremy Kyle show.
Did my memory deceive me?
Oh, debuted in the United States and Canada on September 19th, 2011.
Okay. Oh, so with British guests. It was just...
No, for the US version.
Okay.
For the US version, see Jeremy Kyle show, American TV series. No, I think it was an American.
Right.
Hold on, let me click that. Oh yeah, it was United States and Canada, September 19th, 2011. It was taped in New York. It only had 2 seasons, 300 episodes. Blimmin' heck, mate.
That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. It was cancelled in 2012. Oh, good.
Sense.
Thank God. But yeah, so now it's time for
the real crime, I think, was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. And I had said here before we get into it.
We already said mine.
Oh, we'll go. But before I get to like, I enjoyed the actors. I think they were really, really good actors. I think they're very convincing. And if you allowed yourself to feel the fantasy, you too would have been convinced that they were the actual producers. Okay. But haters be hating a bit. But yeah, what's your one? What was your one?
My one was the fact that there was no names. That someone would just come on the screen and I was like, who is this person? I get if you don't want to say their name, but like, what is their reference point? I need something.
Who are they? Where are they? Yeah, I agree. That was really good.
I didn't understand.
I have a lot of them. The real crime, I think, is Jeremy Kyle. Very disrespectful.
Yes, of course.
His face, and also the fact that he was always wearing navy blue suits, like my brother. Every time a navy blue suit. Every time. Drove me crazy. The real crime, I think.
I think I know what you're going to say. Actually, maybe not. You go.
And rest in peace to Steve in it. R.I.P. Lovely guy. But that proposal to Jane, I'm sorry.
What?
Do you know what it is? He goes down on one knee, to propose. But then he stands up and then puts the ring on. And I was like, babes, you're already down there.
He did do that.
You just put the ring on while you're down there.
Yeah, I did.
And then, you know. But otherwise, it was a cute proposal. It was really cute. And like, he just looked so happy.
Adorable.
The real crime, I think, was the lie detector test.
Yeah.
They're not admissible in court. They're nothing, really. Like, if you don't trust your man and you want him to take a lie detector test, break up with him, sis. You don't trust him. If you don't trust him, don't be in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. The only space that lie detectors should exist in are, you know, these American shows where they get celebrities.
And
they're doing lolling. Yeah. And it's just bants.
Just bants.
Fine.
It should be used in a context of banter.
Yeah,
like,
funniness.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, not actual,
a serious thing.
Yeah.
Literally life or death.
Situation. Yeah, it's so sad.
Mad.
It's so sad.
Yeah. What one did you think I was going to do?
I thought you were going to do Steve's fiance when she revealed her tattoo. I really thought that's what you're gonna do.
Don't go and project your evil on me.
No. I just thought. Oh, I
didn't.
But no, it's good that you didn't.
I didn't have comment on that.
Fair enough.
So next time, I'll be back with another amazing guest while Forenz is on her hiatus, and we'll be covering another Channel 4 documentary. You'd really think they were paying me for this. This one is called Dating App Horrors, The Untold Story.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
I know.
That sounds very interesting.
It is. It's also very terrifying. I'll play the trailer at the end so you can get a feel of the documentary. You can watch it on Channel 4 if you want to watch it before we do the episode. But in the meantime, between time, you can find us Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. 2 Girls, 1 Doc. On TikTok, it's 2 Girls, 1 Doc podcast. And you can email us 2girls1doc@gmail.com if you want to request a documentary. Where can they find you, sis? Do you want to be found? Because I know what you're like.
No, it's okay.
Well, if you go on Google and type A Quick Ting On, okay, you can purchase. You can buy books online, innit?
You can.
You can purchase.
All retailers.
At all retailers, you can purchase the series of books. I have 2 of them. I have the Afrobeats one and I have the hair one. There's bear in it, and it just gives you insight into Black British culture because we are bad bitches. Okay. So yeah, that's on that.
Woohoo!
Woo. Anything you want to say before we go?
No, this is really fun. That's all.
Right?
Amazing.
Oh,
I loved it. This is brilliant setup. Honestly,
do you know what? Yeah, I've really picked my guests and documentaries. Like, I've thought about it.
It's brilliant.
I've been like, what's going to make the most sense with this particular person?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing, because you were sending me loads. I was like, wow, this.
And do you know what?
I didn't even know there's many documentaries currently right now. I was like, wow.
I changed it like 5 times. I was like, okay, we're definitely doing this one. Oh no, let's do this one. And actually, we're going to do this one. Okay, no, let's do this one.
Wow, this is how it works. This is the behind the scenes, the processing of
the chaos that is my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, goodbye.
Goodbye.
More than 50 million people are online using these apps. How safe is this?
Not safe at all.
Dating apps sell romance and love.
The world has changed. 1 in 5 relationships now begin on an online dating site.
Nice to meet you.
But when dreams of happily ever after
He was very handsome.
turn dangerous, even deadly,
Online dating is a predator's playground.
one predator weaves a web of deception.
Everything that he told these women were lies. I was on a date with a monster, and I had no idea.
Another match leads to rage-fueled revenge.
He stabbed you 10 times until the knife broke.
Online dating's most frightening horror stories.
She was on the highest mountain telling everyone this guy is a psycho.
Could they have been stopped?
You don't know what you're walking into.
I tell my friends, run a background check on them.
And how vulnerable are you when you swipe, click, and connect?
Even if every employee at Match.com knew that this guy was a serial killer, you don't have a case. They are immune from suit.
This story has to get out. These companies are not being held accountable.
I found it a bit weird, you know, I'm not gonna lie. The actors. Oh, well, that's bad timing.
Is going on here?
It's reality. It's
okay,
life.
Start with I found it weird.
I actually found it weird.
Do you know what? Do you
did it on purpose?
No.
They did it on purpose.
What? I think I do it again.